This is the Dallas Morning News.
Eat, Drink, DFW from the Dallas Morning News is made possible by Central Market.
Hello, and welcome to Eat, Drink, DFW, the podcast from the Dallas Morning News food team. Each and every week, we take a look at food and drink trends in North Texas, talk about restaurants in Dallas-Fort Worth, learn some new recipes, and sometimes even get tips from you, our listeners. I'm Anna Butler, the Dallas Morning News food editor. This week, we're going to hear about a unique 25-course tasting menu, a new Japanese-Mexican fusion restaurant, and all the new offerings this season for Texas Rangers baseball games. Plus, I'll be sharing one of my favorite new after-work cooking tips. That's all coming up right after this.
Central Market is really into food. Like when we say cheese, it's in 12 languages into food. Butchers, bakers, and sushi roll makers into food. We're talking so obsessive about quality you can shop blindfolded into food. Central Market is really into food. If you are too, then let us turn your shopping list into a treasure map. Get inspired, get adventurous, or just get a chef-made dinner when you've got more taste buds than time. No place makes every meal more amazing like Central Market. Really into food. Shop now at centralmarket.com.
For the latest food and restaurant news in Dallas-Fort Worth, visit dallasnews.com/food. Also, we'd love to hear from you, so email us at eatdrink@dallasnews.com. Today, I'm joined by our food writers Sarah Blaskovich and Imelda Garcia. Sarah, you literally just zoomed here from Arlington, where you tried all of the new foods being offered at the Rangers ballpark.
That's right. We do this every year. On opening week, Rangers insider Evan Grant and I take big, stupid bites of a bunch of concessions and then do a video telling people what we think of them. So I'll give you guys the Cliffs Notes, and then if you want to go to dallasnews.com/food, you can watch that fun video. So in 2025, an odd thing has happened where lobster makes the list of new concessions 3 times. Now, I love a lobster roll as much as the next guy, but when you think of Arlington, Texas, do you think of lobster, Anna?
No, we're about 5 to 6 hours away from the ocean here, so I would prefer to avoid it in certain circumstances.
Yeah, and a lot of the lobster that the rest of us eat here in Texas actually comes from Maine, which is, I don't know how many hundreds or thousands of miles away that is, but it's not close. But the Rangers have chosen this year to really go big on lobster. You can have lobster 3 ways this season: in a lobster roll, in lobster macaroni and cheese, or in lobster nachos. So Imelda, which of those 3 would you eat?
I think the nachos, it's kind of fun, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if we can get away from the fact that lobster is not from Texas, it is fun and surprising. I'll also say that the prices on all 3 of these are lower than I thought they would be, which is good news, you guys. The lobster roll is just $13.99, and I've eaten a lobster roll at a restaurant that's like $30-$40.
That's one of the more affordable lobster rolls I've heard of in a long time. How are they keeping their costs down?
Yeah, so great question. It is a lobster blend.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's lobster and imitation crab together. Lobster roll purists will recognize that we're not in Portland, Maine, as we're eating these lobster rolls. However, Evan and I both thought that the lobster dishes generally, taste like lobster more than anything else. So if you're jonesing for a lobster something, you're going to find it at Texas Rangers games this year.
Did you have any favorites? Did anything really stand out to you or Evan?
I did, and maybe this shows what a carny I am on the inside. But the thing I loved most was the bacon on a stick with Dr. Pepper barbecue glaze. And it is simple. This is just a big, thick slab of bacon on a stick with a sweet, delicious sauce on it. And I found myself, we tried, 8 or 10 different things, most of them covered in some form of squishy cheese. And I found myself going back to that stick of bacon almost for my palate cleanser. It was just good. And it cost $9.99. Again, that's a lot for a single slab of bacon, but we're inside a stadium where everything costs a little bit more. And the $9.99 was the least expensive of the new concessions we tried.
It doesn't surprise me that you like that, because you did like the cotton candy bacon a lot at the state fair too.
That's right. This is less sweet than that. I think one could argue that the cotton candy bacon from the State Fair of Texas was on the verge of too sweet, and this is a little less sweet.
I love Dr. Pepper as a glaze with barbecue, so this makes so much sense to me. It makes more sense to me than straight up cotton candy does. So I think I'm more intrigued by this than I was by the State Fair concoction.
Yeah, good point. I also like the Dr. Pepper glaze because it takes us to Texas, and these are the Texas Rangers. I make the point in the story I wrote about the new Rangers food that a lot of these different foods take you to different parts of the United States. And so I think one of the reasons probably why I liked the bacon too is because it takes us to Texas.
And which one did you like the least?
So there was a buffalo pulled pork sandwich with coleslaw on it. So if we're going to take this travel theme, the pulled pork sandwich takes you to the Carolinas, right? The coleslaw on the sandwich takes you to the Carolinas. The buffalo sauce takes you to my mom's hometown, Buffalo, New York. And should we put buffalo on a pulled pork coleslaw sandwich? No, we should not.
So this was buffalo sauce, right? No, not buffalo meat.
Correct. It was pulled pork, so pig, no buffalo as in the animal. It was buffalo sauce that, if I can take you there visually, bright orange that dyed part of the inside of the bun. We don't want it. It's like a Nashville-ish thing that just didn't quite get there.
Now I want to try it.
I like that about you, Imelda.
I have an anecdote for last year. Do you remember this pizza burger?
Of course.
My whole family, we went to a game and we were like, okay, what do you want? And I'm like taking the list, and 3 people told me, I want a pizza burger. So I walked to the cashier and I told him like, okay, I want this and this and this and 3 pizza burgers. And he was like, are you sure you want all that?
Oh, no.
And I was like, yeah. And he was like, let me show you the pizza burger. And he brings this huge, humongous thing. And I was like, no, yeah, you know what? Just give me one and cut it in 3 parts. It was huge.
Plus, he was going to be like, and that'll be $800 for your family to have dinner.
I know. And it was not that good,
Yeah. Okay. So speaking of massive food at the Texas Rangers ballpark, this is a thing that we've done since the Boomstick more than a decade ago. If everybody remembers, the Boomstick is the 24-inch long loaded hot dog that comes with its own suitcase.
24? Wow.
So this year they will sell the Boomstick because it was the original and the bestseller, but they usually do a new, very long or very big thing. This year's is a Boomstick burrito. So for $35.99, you get a 26-inch in diameter tortilla that was specifically made by a local bakery because apparently tortillas don't come this large. And during the press conference, it was so funny. The guy who does concessions held up the tortilla without anything in it. It like covered his whole face when he held it above the microphone. So the Boomstick is filled with rice, beans, taco meat. On top comes my beloved squeezy nacho cheese, lettuce, sour cream, jalapenos. And we really wanted to like this burrito because it kind of reminds you of like a supersized Freebirds burrito or a Chipotle burrito, but it was very squishy.
I have a comment about the huge tortilla.
Yep.
One time in my past life in Mexico, I was digging about some drug cartel, something like that in Sonora,
Like you do.
And they have like this massive tortilla. They are called sobaqueras.
Oh, there's
It's
a
like,
name just because they're so big?
Yes. And I don't know, this is a fun story. The armpit in Mexico, they have a nickname for it, and we call it sobaco.
The armpit.
The armpit. So sobaquera is because this massive tortilla, it goes from your hand to your sobaco, So it's this huge tortilla.
Oh, there's such a historical tortilla story hidden inside this armpit joke.
I know, it's crazy.
If I have any notes as your editor, and this is probably not the appropriate place to bring it up, Sarah, y'all need to bring a scale next time because I need to understand how much that thing weighs.
Yeah, no, this is a great question. Evan did try to pick it up with his bare hands. And mind you, there's squeezy cheesy on the top of it, but he did try and he failed. So it was heavy enough that he couldn't kind of get it out of there. So you have to knife and fork this thing. And because it's 24 inches long, it could sit on 2 laps. But like the idea that my family of 4 is going to try to eat this, like there's going to be cheese on everybody's shirt.
To have an idea, the size of a newborn is between 18 inches and 21 inches. This burrito is 26. So that gives you an idea,
And I'm thinking about the weight of a preemie sometimes. So I'm like, maybe like a 5-pounder is when I know I've done my job right on like a monster burrito at Freebirds.
Do you know what I need, Anna? Is I need like a Frisbee so that we could think if anything's bigger than, like a Frisbee or a dinner plate. I probably need a ruler. I definitely need a scale. What else do we need, guys, to prove how big this food is?
Napkins, a lot.
We went through a lot of napkins. And anybody listening, if you're baseball fans, go to dallasnews.com/food. You can read about all the delicious, crazy things you can eat in the 2025 baseball season. Let's play ball.
Imelda, you took a trip to Fort Worth to try a new restaurant that serves fusion cuisine that puts together Mexican and Japanese food. How did this idea even happen?
Yeah, so this is a place called Shogun Taqueria. It's a fusion between Mexican and Japanese cuisine. And it's really interesting because they have some things that blew my mind, actually. It's like ramen menudo, kimchi quesadilla, chicken pozole shio. It's like, what is that? So I went to the place and I talked with this Paco Islas, is the chef. And he told me that in 2021, he was paired with Kevin Martinez, who is a head chef of Tokyo Cafe in Fort Worth. So they were working together, and there the idea grew up in his mind. They have tonkatsu with mole. So if you have like an adventurous palate, he took all the traditions from the Mexican cuisine, all the preparation and techniques and everything, and the same with the Japanese cuisine. And it's all made from scratch.
These two chefs actually met while paired for the Fort Worth Food and Wine Festival, which is coming up in 2 weekends. That's where so many great ideas are actually born, are at these kind of community events where people meet new folks.
Yeah, and the idea was born there, but now he's opening this restaurant this Friday, tomorrow actually.
Sarah, you also went to Fort Worth recently to take part in a unique 25-course tasting menu. First of all, that's insane. And second of all, we need all the details.
Of course. Yeah, you at first said 25 courses like it was no big thing. And I was like, give me a little more credit, you guys. No, I'm kidding. Yes, Lonesome Dove, which is just about to celebrate its 25th anniversary in the Fort Worth Stockyards, is doing a 25-course tasting priced at $250 to celebrate that big anniversary. So you're seeing all the numbers come together, right? It had to be 25 courses because of the 25th anniversary. Now, you are not eating 25 plates of food. It is more like 25 bites. And to make this more palatable, they serve them in flights of 5. So it is basically 5 courses of 5 bites. And Lonesome Dove is known for its wild game. So dove, squab, pheasant. And I think Chef Tim Love has really done something cool here. He thought, well, I want to commemorate an important restaurant. It was his first restaurant and really the one that put him on the map for fancy cowboy food. So anybody who loves wild game or who loves a tasting menu, I think Lonesome Doves is worthy of going to if you can handle the $250 price tag.
I want to know, where does this guy buy the kangaroo? Or the rattlesnake meat.
Yes. Okay. So Imelda brings up some of the meats, right? There's kangaroo and rattlesnake. He told a funny story, Imelda. He said sometimes the kangaroo gets stuck at the border.
No.
Like in customs? Is that how it comes through?
It's already dead.
I know. Well, yes. So Joey's not like standing there at customs.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And the rattlesnake, he thinks he buys more rattlesnake than any chef. I don't know if he said in the region or across Texas. And let's be frank, I don't know anybody who's buying rattlesnake. So is he the only? And do we want to eat rattlesnake? So the rattlesnake is served in a dumpling, and it's kind of a play on a famous Lonesome Dove dish where the rattlesnake is usually served in sausage. So I just find this fascinating that he came up with 25 courses and that most of them are not small bites of what he's already done. He took the protein and then did kind of a twist on them. It's a wild idea. Would you eat 25 courses, Anna?
Not well. I'm not someone to take to an all-you-can-eat something. I peter out. It's very sad. I've been to a handful of Tim Love's pop-ups over the years. He'll do some regionally inclined ones. So he did one just around France at one point, and I remember every single dish that I've had during it. So when he puts his mind to something, he is a perfectionist. He is exacting, and you know that if he's actually putting it on the plate, he really likes it, which I just think that's special. And he himself is usually in the kitchen working on something like this, which is really exciting too.
This tasting menu runs May 2nd to 6th, so for 5 days. And I think it's a glimpse into some of Lonesome Dove's best cooking in its 25 years.
You can read about all of these things by visiting dallasnews.com/food. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, I'm going to share one of my favorite new cooking hacks.
Central Market is really into food, like fish flown in so fresh it still has jet lag into food. Our sourdough starter has been around since grunge was a thing into food. We're talking more prime cuts than a greatest hits album into food. Central Market is really into food. If you are too, then we're the HQ for you. Whether you're a make every recipe in the cookbook foodie or a my favorite recipe is reheat type who just digs the delectable, no place makes every day more delicious like Central Market. Really into food. Shop now at centralmarket.com.
Welcome back. In just a minute, we'll jump into a useful cooking hack I've been obsessed with lately. We'd love it, though, if you would help us spread the word about our podcast. If you like it, please tell your friends or anyone you think would appreciate all the important information we share each week. It would mean the world to us. So you know that thing when you're dreading making dinner, but you also hate leftovers.
Yeah.
I really hate leftovers. But while my oven was out of service,
I remember
shall we
this.
say, I had to use the air fryer a lot. And so what I discovered was, I get why people like it. I was a holdout on liking it, but frozen fish, and frozen seafood is a huge one. One, it thaws a lot quicker than meat does. And so I've been really into frozen shrimp in the past few weeks. So all you really need to know is that once you've thawed the shrimp, which you can do under cool water after a matter of a few minutes, 400 degrees on the air fryer setting, 7 minutes.
Okay.
It will be cooked perfectly. You want large jumbo shrimp for this. You can marinate them in whatever you want. I wouldn't do it for probably more than 30 minutes. It's kind of a more delicate thing. I love a Cajun seasoning, or you could do garlic powder, onion powder, salt and pepper. But with this prepared shrimp, I put it into tacos. I've been doing summer rolls, which are so fun and easy, and you can do it in under 30 minutes, which doesn't feel like it should be possible, but it is.
I'm just reflecting that this meal probably doesn't require a trip to the grocery store because it's in your freezer. Like, I love the shortness of time in cooking, but the second thing is that you didn't also then go to the store.
I didn't go to the store on repeat at all. So frozen fish, I think it makes some people really nervous, especially if they didn't grow up thawing things that weren't basically like chili in Texas.
Yeah.
But you can get big packets of it at something like a Sam's or a Costco, or just freeze fresh shrimp yourself that you get at Central Market or somewhere where you're like, I really like the quality here. I love it though, because they're locking in the utmost nutrition at a certain point. So it's not degrading while it's in the freezer. It's actually sealing all of those things in. So while you're looking for something like shrimp that has high protein, it also still has all of its vitamins, minerals, and then those omega-3 fatty acids too. So do y'all have any time-saving hacks you want to share too?
We're in a crab cake phase in our house, which I don't know what that says about us, but we aren't eating meat on Fridays during Lent, but also we've just had a healthier 2025 than we have in the past couple of years. And so there's a lot more fish that we're eating in our house, and Central Market's already made crab cakes. Man, that is the easiest, most delicious dish. And I'm a sucker for a crab cake. I have spent $30-$40 on a crab cake at a restaurant around here, and I'm not proud of it, but if it's on the menu, I kind of want it. These crab cakes are like $5 each if they're on sale, and we'll buy 4 of them for our family. They take just a couple of minutes sauteed in the pan, and we usually buy Central Market's remoulade. You could make your own remoulade or, some other sauce. It is so easy, and you can have dinner in 10 minutes or less.
I was spitballing with the fishmonger. Is that the right term?
Yeah. And I love that name.
At Central Market, the one over on Lovers. And he was like, you've got to try the jalapeno ones. They're so good. And it's a little bit more vegetal than it is spicy. And he was like, I bet it's really good with the tomatilla salsa. They're so easy. But he was like, hey, just remember, these are actually all pre-cooked. So you really just need to heat it up.
Yes, we actually did a tasting one time of the crab cakes, Anna. So like instead of buying, 4 of the same, we bought all of them, just one of each. And like everybody got a little sliver. And then we got to talk about which ones we liked. Those Central Market crab cakes, they got it.
And I think I'm going to be in a freezer phase right now because my fridge doesn't work.
Oh no.
Yes.
Wait, what happened?
I don't know. It just doesn't work. The light is on, but nothing happens.
But no one's home.
Yeah, no one's home. Exactly. So I have a freezer, thank God. So yeah, I'm like just defrosting things. But I have another hack, and it's bake a cake in a mug, When you don't want like bake this big thing, or you just have like a little craving for the afternoon, I think it's great just to grab a cup and bake a cake in there.
The thing about baking a cake in a mug is that Instagram can show you 500 different ways to do it.
Correct.
So Anna, if you're like, I would like a confetti cake, and Imelda, you're like, I would like a red velvet cake, and I'm like, I would like a chocolate on chocolate brownie situation. All of those can be made probably with the things in your pantry, if only someone on Instagram will tell you the denominations, and someone will.
And this brings me to another hack. When you are like putting some peanut butter or creamy thing in the measuring thingy, I just put oil on it so I can like take it off everything, because sometimes you're like fighting with the thing, so yeah.
See, I'm a big fan of making a well with it. So if you put your dry ingredients in first, you could, if you need a tablespoon of something, you push your tablespoon into it, so it makes a tablespoon indentation. You pour it into the
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's great. I didn't come up with that.
Whenever there's something sticky in the measuring cup, I just hate that, because then the cleaning of it is icky. And so I love the oil idea, Imelda, but I also now I can just dollop it into the hole.
Yes,
Y'all.
but I mean, when it gets wetter and wetter, you can't keep doing it. So
Sure.
oil is a great way to do that. Julie looks like she might have a hack of her own.
I'm so glad y'all are talking about this, because I just came up with breadcrumbs recently. I saw somebody else using breadcrumbs, and my family hates everything I make anymore just because I've been making the same things for like 20 years, you know? But I found if you toast some breadcrumbs at home in like olive oil, and I put chili flakes, garlic, salt, pepper in there, and then I do some lemon zest, I put that stuff on pretty much all the same stuff I always make, like roasted vegetables, pasta, Caesar salads. It makes everything taste so much better because the breadcrumbs will soak up the sauce or the dressing, whatever, and then it has the little crunchy element. So it just makes everything taste differently and better, even though I am still making all the same old stuff.
Julie, your breadcrumbs are like the 2025 version of the chili crisp phase we've all been in for the past couple of years. You know, you put chili crisp on anything that wants to be a little bit spicy and a little bit crunchy.
Actually, you could put chili crisp on your breadcrumbs and just make something with that. That would be great on eggs, actually.
Eggs, no, so expensive now.
That's all the time we have for today, and we would love to know your time-saving hacks, so email them to us at eatdrink@dallasnews.com. And if you've missed an episode of the Eat Drink DFW podcast, well, it's time to catch up. Make sure you're following Eat Drink DFW wherever you find podcasts. Special thanks to our producer, Julie Fisk. For the news, I'm Anna Butler. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Eat, Drink, DFW from the Dallas Morning News is made possible by Central Market.